Yo, what's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Greetings from Istanbul, Turkey. Thank you very much for joining me today. And as always, we start off every show with Ellie saying hi to everybody. This is Ellie. She's an Elliott Wave analyst, named after Elliott Wave theory, of course. 7-month-old poodle, ultra shaggy, very well behaved, and she just wants to be famous, so she got on YouTube with me. Isn't that right, Ellie? Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me today, guys. Happy Friday to everybody. And greetings from Istanbul, Turkey, once again. Merhaba. Thank you very much for joining me. So today we're going to be covering a few different topics. Just a little bit of general news. And we're going to talk about my major mistake that I made on RLC. And then we're going to kind of just dive into my thoughts in general about the crypto markets. So let's talk about RLC right now because it's on my mind. And I'll probably end up shorting it live in front of you guys soon. So I made a mistake on RLC. I identified this trend line, okay? This trend line right here. I observed a false breakout, saw this huge wick, but this candle right here said to me it's time to long it. There's a support, that candle right there, followed by these two right here. So I saw those guys. I entered a long position from 122. Really good price, a $100,000 position. No joke, right over here. I'll show you guys it. So I bought, actually it was 1245. That's where I bought it, 80,000, so 100,000 position right there. So when I bought that long, I got shaken out actually, okay? I got shaken out. It ended up rallying. I bought it almost at the breakout actually instead. I got shaken out. It went up to about 3% profit. I was up about $3,000. But of course, this long wick, it scared the crap out of me, right? So I took my profit. And the profit, it actually reached $3,000 for a brief moment. If you take a look at it right here, it reached $3,000, right? But I didn't take my profit, and it went all the way back down there. I was nervous of it going back into the trend line. So I took my profit, and the profit was only $600 instead of $3,000. Had I held on to it, right? Had I just followed through with this identified support, which was the previous resistance right there. If I take a look on the yellow line there, it never really broke back down. What I should have done was stopped myself out below the yellow line, which was the previous resistance. Had I waited, it would have went right back up after a retest, and then I would have made an easy $3,500. So that was a mistake that people commonly make. So what I'm getting to is, if you ever buy on a breakout for a resistance, don't shake yourself out and stop yourself out before it goes back into the resistance. And the best way to observe a resistance is to acknowledge the fact that there's going to be many different bull trapped regions above it as well. So here I took the average between these candles. As you can see, there's some wicks poking out, wick poking out, wick poking out, big wick. So the best way to have drawn a resistance, which turns into a support once it's broken, is to draw the average and stop yourself out below the support trend line, not before it, because oftentimes it will just kind of hover right around there. So unfortunately, I could have made a $3,000 profit today, but I only made $600, and that's really frustrating to me because I haven't taken a trade yet today. I'm just as human as everybody else. I want to be in a trade, you know? So RLC is absolutely on my mind right now to potentially short sometime soon. Just to give everybody a quick tip, if you're looking at RLC, it's really obvious that this is a 1, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down, but this is the confusing one. We don't know if this is 1, 2, 3, then an A, B, C, and all of this is making a 4, right? And a 5. And 5 still has room to go. Or is this like this? It's making something like that. Then that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 truncated. 4 down. Then a 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the 5th right here. So this is a commonly asked question about how many different variations and alternations you can actually have when it comes to day trading. So Elliott wave theory is really on the fence, right? Or is this not even the count? And that's, for example, a 4 there. and the 5 starts over here, where this is an A, B, C, D, and an E perhaps, because it did make an ascending triangle. If you were watching RLC today, unfortunately, I decided to have this bright idea of going to the gym right before the breakout, and I thought I had time. So if you caught that breakout above this resistance, you would have made yourself a huge profit today. So some news in the market right now is this is the first time in history, in a decade, where Bitcoin had its worst 3 months ever. We had a 56% drop alone, but it's actually not the most volatile month I've seen, okay? I've seen more volatile months, and just to give you an example, on Bitfinex, where I used to trade, I like to reference them because it's far back and I'm used to their charts. So if you take a look far back here, when Bitcoin reached the all-time high on December the 17th, it dropped down to about 46.5% in 5 days, right? 5 days, that's tremendous. We've never seen a drop that big, in my opinion, and from what I've seen. So here, we've seen a drop from 59.7. So this one dropped 50%, but this one took 9 days. So the most volatile few days I've ever seen in my life has definitely been in December of 2017. In terms of volatility, it's not nearly as much as December in 2017. I mean, take a look at this drop. Not only did it drop that much, but it also ended up rallying a whopping 50% in 5 days again. And then it ended up dropping 30% in 4 days. And then it ended up rallying 50% almost in 8 days. And then you got another major drop of 64% in 31 days. So in terms of volatility, we've never even came close to December, although this is very close in my opinion. Despite it being the biggest drop, it's obviously attributed to the economy just crashing right now, inflation rates hiking through the roof. Many companies like Three Arrows Capital, Celsius as well, they're basically just managing bad business. These companies, in my opinion, need to get weeded out. It's important for these over-leveraged companies to get... I'm just going to close my door. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about that. I forgot to close my door. I'm in my shorts today. It's kind of a casual day. So whenever we have these major type of crashes and big players are weeded out of the game, usually regulation comes after that. Three Arrows Capital, they were leveraged beyond extreme. Not only that, a Celsius network, they provided an annual interest rate that was far beyond manageable. They ended up giving up 80% of their profit for whatever they invested in back to the customers and only held 20% of it. They didn't have the liquidity to control or to manage these types of withdrawals that they're having, especially when Bitcoin ended up crashing pretty hard. So despite it being the biggest quarter drop that we've ever seen, I still believe that there's tons of bullish momentum that's going to come in the future. Bitcoin is here to stay if we remember why it was created to begin with. It was created because in 2008, the economy crashed, and of course, people wanted to be empowered. They wanted transparency. They wanted their money to be accountable. They wanted to fight inflation. They wanted something that had store value. And of course, the American economy doesn't help in any way when it comes to the price of Bitcoin right now. Hopefully regulation will come in early next year. I'm very much so hoping. That's why right now, in my personal opinion, this is not financial advice. It's a really good time to be stacking crypto because you just don't know if 19K is going to be the lowest price. You don't know if 18K or 17 or 16K. Well, you just don't know. But it's important to be in the game. It's better to have crypto when we're at an all-time low in terms of 2017's major drop, right? Or February, what was it? Yeah, 2017, December 17's all-time high. Our size at the absolute lowest we've ever seen since 2012. Major wallets, or the biggest wallets, are still accumulating Bitcoin to this day. We're reaching an all-time high for the amount of Bitcoins held with 1 Bitcoin and over right now. So there's a lot of reasons why people are stacking Bitcoin, and especially because liquidity is drying up. Exchanges are at 2017's all-time high in terms of how much Bitcoin they actually have on exchanges. So regardless of Bitcoin falling down to 14K or 12K, I'm going to keep dollar cost averaging, and who's going to have the last laugh when Bitcoin ends up going to 100K? I personally believe that if Bitcoin gets close to 40K, we're probably just going to skyrocket to 70. And I don't even think that 70K is going to be a resistance. I think that we're going to have so much bullish momentum that once we get to 70K, it's going to blast off to most likely 100K. So right now, in my personal opinion, it's not financial advice. It's in your best interest to have Bitcoin and dollar cost averaging. I love how people always come into this channel. It's like, they're all bots, obviously, right? But I just find it hilarious how they cycle through every single live stream to do this. Who takes them seriously? I mean, that's the funniest part, right? Oh, 100K, Adam, is absolutely more than feasible. People have talked about Bitcoin going to possibly 150, 250K. When the halving begins and when regulation begins as well, when major investment firms start adding it to their portfolio as well, right? When banks actually start keeping it in their portfolio as an asset, as a commodity, right? As a store value, it's going to skyrocket. Once we get regulation coming in, like Kevin O'Leary said, we're going to get trillions of dollars coming into the crypto space overnight. Right now, it's just the major banks that are not coming in because there's no regulation. They're shit terrified. Everything is still speculation right now. Michael Saylor, he had $3.86 billion of Bitcoin. That's something that, something we'll never dream of, right? But he manages one of the biggest crypto companies in the world right now. He's down about $1.6 billion right now. His entry price is $30,000 and he's holding somewhere like 150,000 Bitcoins. He ended up buying $10 million more right now. So just some other news right now. Sol, I'm a big fan of it. They announced their cell phone. They're not the first people to announce a cell phone, by the way, but they're going to be having their own operating system. And it's people are so set on Apple and Android. Like, come on, I use the Samsung Z Fold 3, right? The Z Fold 3 here is a phone that folds. When I'm using it for trading, I can dual screen, just as an example, right? So for example there, like, why would I want to switch to another phone, right? If I'm really happy with the one that I have, and especially since a lot of applications are supporting Android and iPhone. So I'm not really sure about that, but I like the idea, right? That's pretty interesting. Another headline news is Crypto Queen. She used to run her own exchange and had a coin called OneCoin. And it was a Ponzi scheme. This was back in like 2017. This is when I first started getting into crypto. She's now on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list right now. She disappeared with $4 billion. Her exchange one day just closed down without any news or announcement. And she had $4 billion of people's money. That's pretty huge. What would you guys do? Okay, just hypothetical question. You have an opportunity to disappear with $4 billion of crypto. But keep in mind that money can be tracked. It's impossible nowadays to move a lot of amount of money without being found, right? You can move a small amount. You can go to Bitcoin machines, for example. You don't have to use ID. You can use apps that give you a phone number if the Bitcoin machine needs it, right? You can have anonymous wallets as well. But the moment that it hits an exchange that's KYC regulated, you're going to get caught, right? What would you guys do? Would you take the chance and take $4 billion? But the catch is you can't ever see any of your family again or your friends. You have to become a completely different person. No contact with any close friends, family. If you're married, too bad. If you have a girlfriend, too bad, right? What would you guys do? Would you choose the $4 billion or would you give it up, right? I probably would not choose the $4 billion. That's what I would tell my wife. But, you know, really, I would choose the 4 billion and take my chances for fun. That's what everybody would say for fun, right? But realistically, of course, I wouldn't choose it. On another news, for the Harmony hack, for OneCoin, or for One, right? Speaking of OneCoin here, Harmony or One, that's their token. They got hacked for $100 million. And now there's links to North Koreans that have hacked them. Harmony offered a $1 million bounty in exchange for the 100 million. I mean, most smart people in a normal country would probably choose the $1 million because Harmony did say there would be no legal repercussions. You can't really move $100 million in crypto nowadays. It's impossible without knowing where it's going because of KYC regulation. So I would probably choose the $1 million to get away from it, like to get away from the legal battles. If there were no legal consequences, I would give back that $100 million any day. But unfortunately, that offer was declined because they're North Koreans. So, and they've been behind many hacks before as well. Another major hack before. I can't remember it on the top of my head. So that's some of the interesting news right now going on in terms of crypto. As for BTC, I think I might have missed my short position. I'm just waiting. Honestly, I'm going to put an alert here. Right there. I'm just waiting for RLC to enter like $100,000. And I'm probably going to do it in front of you guys. Probably 50K. So this is the major resistance, or support rather, right? You guys can see the support here too. If it goes down, goes back in, I'm in. There's no way, but I'm probably going to wait a little bit for a little bit more confirmation. So if you see me enter a trade here, all right, let's get it. And just to let you guys know, there's a huge sale right now going on for Canada Day. I forgot to mention it. There is a 50% off sale. I have 50 books that are available to the public. That's the second edition now. I wrote a book, pretty cool. It's very useful. Lots of attention and detail was put into the second edition. The first one was more so rushed, so there were a lot of mistakes. So this is second edition book. It only comes with a package that I have right now. It comes with a package where you'll get all of my course version 2.0, all 29 hours and 53 lessons. You'll get course version 2.0, the second edition book, and you'll get 1 year of my Discord to get into my trading group. So it's 50% off right now. It's a really good deal, especially if you're a serious trader and you really want to take it to the next level where you want to learn RSI, MACD, see me trade with the group as well, where I call a lot of my trades, right? And especially if you want someone like a mentor sort of to be able to ask a lot of questions, get good answers, and have a good community. It's a really good group, right? I just had 50 extra books that I published, and I'm like, hey, may as well do it. Never gonna do it again though. This will be the last time that I print these books. It's just a lot of work of packaging. Honestly, I don't want to package, and it makes my wife very, very upset when she's the one doing all the packaging actually. So in terms of BTC right now, we had a really ugly monthly close, which we all know already. Bitcoin is really nasty in terms of the monthly close, and there's, in my opinion, there's no friggin' way we're gonna hold at these levels and go back to the upside. Like if when we got a wick here, this candle here in May in 2021, at least we got a wick of like 30%. Here, we got a wick of like 13%. And then the next few months we held here. We held 3 months above the $29,000 range. And then $29,000 right to 138%, right? So I don't think this month is going to be bullish, guys. I think it's going to be a long period of consolidation, and then we're going to go from there. So RLC is looking like it's hitting my support right here. Not quite yet. I'm going to go for a low of 23.40. That's where I'll enter a short position. So BTC right now, we hit an all-time low. Like it's horrible in my opinion. I expect a really solid 6 months of consolidation, and it's going to be slow, okay? Very, very slow. So in my opinion, you just got to be able to weather the storm, got to dollar cost average it, and just wait for the next bull run to come. Because when it comes, it's going to be huge. You won't even know what's hitting you. It's going to be greater than 2020s, greater than 2017s. It's here to stay. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. So you've got to be very bullish on Bitcoin long term. Sup Z World. I don't have a car here myself personally anymore. I used to have my crazy modified twin turbo 370Z. Sold that in Canada to a buddy for like 17,000 Canadian. It should have been sold for maybe 40, but I just hooked him up. And now my wife and I, we just share our Mini Cooper S. That's it. We've driven that Mini Cooper S 3 times in 1 year. It literally just sits outside and does nothing because it's not fun to drive in Istanbul. You've got to be crazy to drive in Istanbul. A population of 17 million people, and they're the angriest drivers that I've ever met in my life. If you think that you can drive, when you go to Istanbul, it's insane. Like I never even comprehended the kind of traffic that a city could possibly have. If you want to drive 15 kilometers, in rush hour, you're talking like a 1.5 hour wait. I just colored my wife, Adam. Not married yet, but close enough, you know. So Bitcoin, once again, expecting consolidation. On the weekly, there's no good signs at all. Still heading to the downside momentum-wise. There's literally no momentum to the upside at all. The 4-day is too slow, the histogram. The 2-day just looks like it's about to bounce right back to the downside and separate. On the daily, right, the MACD and the histogram is starting to curve back around again. If you look really closely on the histogram, we're starting to lose steam. Today is the first day we've actually lost steam. So there's not a lot of good signs for Bitcoin right now, in my opinion. In my portfolio, I'm bleeding. In both portfolios, in my main one, I'm down 600,000 or something like that. 700 maybe. Some days I'm bleeding like 50 to 70,000 a day. So not down from like overall. I'm up overall, but I'm talking about down from the all-time high, right? Pretty much that. So for the P&L here, the public portfolio that I'm managing for my Discord group, I'm down $3,400. But if all of these coins reached an all-time high again, these are the all-time highs for each coin, right? If all of the coins reached ATH, my P&L would be $176,000, and then my ATH P&L would be about 300%. If Bitcoin fell down to $12,000, I would buy 2 Bitcoin at 14K and 2 Bitcoin at 12K, which would now change my average price to 14,574, and I would have 5 Bitcoins. And then when Bitcoin gets to the all-time high again, my $96,000 investment will have turned to a $400,000 P&L, right? Which is going to be a $315,000 P&L there, or percent. Matic will probably go lower. I'll probably end up buying about way more. I'll probably have about 40,000 Matic, I'm guessing. Actually 50,000. And my average price will probably be lower. I'm going to say about 0.295, something like that. My $14,000 Matic investment will have turned to about, actually that's not realistic, probably 325. $16,000 Matic investment will have turned to 130. So my $108,000 investment, assuming we're going to reach a bull market again, will turn to $500,000 really easily. And in my main portfolio, I plan to reach some monstrous numbers with that, where I'm dollar cost averaging for forever now. I've been buying for a long time in terms of over 7 years. And the good news about that is I've never actually been down in my portfolio, because every time there's been massive fear and massive panic and reaching key levels, I just kept buying and buying and buying, because I believe that Bitcoin's here to stay. And I personally believe that that's what everybody should do. Don't take that as financial advice, because I know that a lot of people are still living day to day. I know that you've got family, you've got responsibilities and bills. So putting aside, like, you know, like when you see a spreadsheet like this, it's like, man, I don't have 100,000, I don't have 5,000, I don't have 10. A lot of people don't, some people do, right? But the point is that every $10 or $100 that you put in right now it's going to go towards your future. That $100 that you put in, even right now, as it keeps dropping, it could literally end up quadrupling or multiplying by 5. So you have to see it as a piggy bank. But the way to do this is to firmly believe in the bullishness of Bitcoin long term. So if you can spare the money, you know, instead of buying that cup of coffee or instead of going out for that one night to do something, I would put into crypto. That's what Uraz and I do. Instead of going out for dinners, we'll just cook at home, right? We could afford to go out, but we're like, you know what? Let's just see what we could do with crypto for fun, put in there, and 3 years from now, look back on it. So I really hope that you folks stay in the game, and staying in the game is really important. I don't carry Gala anymore, Burke. I decided against it. I'm not really a fan of like Axie's, Gala, like any gaming coins except for play to earns. I'm not going to London for a while, John Pepper. Yeah, I'm not. I've been there twice already, and every time I go there, I get shit-faced. Like, I tweet where I am, and then followers meet me at the restaurant for lunch, and then by 2 p.m., they're carrying me home. So, I'm not really a big fan of London. Just some bad experiences. So, yeah. QNT. Let's check it out. I haven't heard of it. It's not on Binance, so not too interested. And the volume's shit. So, you can choose different tiers, right? Of coins to invest in. You can choose the top coins, which is what I do. Like, say the top 30 coins or so. Choose them because they have a good reputation of succeeding already. A very good team. Good fundamentals, right? Great CEO. It's managed well. It's proven itself already. It's made it through many bear markets and have still prevailed. Those are the kind of coins I want to focus on. I don't really want to speculate with coins, you know, between the top 50 and top 200. And the reason for that is because these coins are still trying to prove themselves. And if we face a very bearish market, a lot of these coins don't tend to survive. A lot of these coins end up dying out. Look at coins like OmiziGo, IOTA, EOS, the big hitters. I'm talking about these guys, okay? Like, take a look at here. For example, I'll just show you IOTA. Okay, they're pretty much done in my opinion. Like, sorry to say, man, but you know, they're pretty much done to me. This is IOTA. I caught this rally, guys. This made me a lot of money. Like, I'll say it very humbly. Like, this coin here did that in 20 days. I remember. And I was just sitting there. I remember crying in front of my computer because I only had put in like $20,000. But that $20,000 turned to about $250,000 in about a week or two. So, like, you look at a coin like IOTA, fuck, what are they doing now? Like, you know what I mean? Some coins just don't make it through bear markets. EOS will probably be around for a long time. But look at what they did and what they were. Like, EOS made me a stupid amount of money too. At least $250,000 in a very short period of time. And this coin did 2,000, 3,000% in like 2-3 months. And then it did almost as much as Gen. So pretty stupid, right? But look at them now, right? My point is, you want to invest in solid coins with solid projects that are already reputable. Because when the bear market comes, these guys won't make it. Man, BCH, I'm not a fan of them at all. Like, you know, Roger Ver and his little team there. Not a fan of them at all. Just based on based on technical analysis. Like, man, I predicted this. I predicted 2,700, 4,400 way back in the days in 2017. I was around for all of this, guys. And now look at them. They're just crapping the bed. You want to focus on a coin that doesn't have so much confusion and so much choppiness. If you look at a coin like Matic, my favorite coin by far, guys. This is where Bitcoin started dumping. Matic fell 87%. This coin, it has some serious potential. I'm telling you guys. Like, I hold a 250K of this coin, like dollars I'm talking about, in Matic in my main portfolio. And the reason I hold it is because it's definitely an Ethereum killer to me. Transaction times are 40,000 transactions per second. Ethereum is really slow. Ethereum's upgrade for sharding is in late 2023 probably, right? A lot of major companies moved off of the Ethereum smart chain to Matic. 20% of major companies left Ethereum. It's also really expensive Ethereum. Really expensive. Like, we're talking 50. If I want to send you $100, it's going to cost me 15. Why the fuck would I want to use Ethereum to send you that? It just makes no sense, right? Some people in the Discord group, they pay for their subscription, for their monthly subscription by Ethereum. Every time they send me 50, it costs them 15. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, not a fan of Litecoin. Charlie Lee has pretty much disappeared off. Like, he's not really active in the community anymore, like in 2017, 2018, right? So, Doge, Kevin, is one of those coins where people are not going to give up on it because it's got a really strong community. It's a really fun coin. Like, I admit it's a fun coin. Elon Musk, he's getting sued for $250 billion or something. He makes it really fun whenever he tweets about it. I love to see Doge pump, and there's always pumps on Doge. It's one of those meme coins that just won't give up. ICP is getting delisted on Binance. Like, FTX coin is a great coin. FTX is phenomenal. That's gonna be in my portfolio soon. The reason I love FTX right now is because they came to the rescue. When all of these major companies are facing insolvency and they have to dump their coins, FTX released an announcement saying that they feel like they could be responsible for this, or they should be responsible for this, and they should do something. That's why there's some major talks right now about them acquiring many different assets, different companies, to prevent this type of dumping. So I'm a big fan of FTX. I think it's very well managed. Not as good as Binance, of course, but FTX is definitely a really good coin, or a good exchange and coin that's upcoming, and it's going to be huge one day. Let's just type in coin market cap, exchange, right? Exchange, they should be second, right? That's huge. Like, they're doing $2.6 billion in volume. Binance is at $12.13 billion. Like, lots of respect for FTX. I used to crap on them, but their volume is really starting to pick up. And I have to admit that I like the interface of FTX a lot better. The only reason I'm staying with Binance is because they're a bigger exchange, right? They're hiring right now. You want to stay on an exchange that's hiring during a massive economic crisis, right? So that kind of shows that they're still growing and business is good. I like the way Binance is managed, and I have lots of respect for them. But it doesn't mean that you should keep all of your crypto on an exchange only. Please don't do that. If you hold Bitcoin or Ethereum, you just don't know, or any major coin, you just don't know when an exchange could literally go belly up and your money is going to be stuck there. Nobody thought that Celsius Network would end up holding all withdrawals, and it's been like that for 20 days now, right? So you don't want to be one of those people that said, crap, I should have just spent $150 on a wallet, on a hard wallet, and put it there. So you have to make sure you protect yourself in this game. Use two-factor authentication, right? Make sure you're checking for phishing emails. Have an antivirus. Confirm the domain whenever you get an antivirus. Just these very small things that can protect you. So I think I'm going to end it here. It's been about 34 minutes already. I'm getting a little bit hungry. My wifey is waiting for me to hang out. It's a Friday night after all. And make sure you guys are checking this out on Twitter. If you guys are interested in my course here, pick it up. I already sold 12 of them. And I'm not really advertising it. I'm just posting it. That's it. So I expect this to be sold out by the end of the weekend. Come join me, guys. Come join and trade with me for $650. It's on sale half price. You get the full course version 2.0. All 29 lessons or 29 hours. Course version 2.0 second edition book mailed out to you. And you also get to join me and trade with me 1 year in my Discord. So I hope to see a lot of you become my students. Yes, Jack Smith, make sure you have a VPN. VPN is always good as well. So have yourselves a great Friday. Thank you very much for joining me. And I look forward to seeing all of you again. Smash the like, hit the subscribe, and also hit that notification button to see me stream every single day from now on for the rest of my life. You're stuck with me.